Hey guys, it's in between rain showers, although it feels like it's going to start raining. I have an umbrella with me. I thought I'd dash out here and quickly show you my autumn garden, and I'll try and do it in the same order as before. This bed I haven't cleared yet. Oh, I have a handy pointing device. That is a purple hollyhocks, pyrethrum that's probably going to come out. This is all campanula that's spreading, so I might let it do that. A calendula that I'll probably pull out. Purple passion and pyrethrum are looking the worst for wear. I'm probably going to pull those out too. We have some calendula. This is a dahlia that came up very late, full of powdery mildew. It's got lots of buds on it, but I think it's a bit too late for that one now. So basically that bed needs clearing. That's campanula again that's spread, and my dwarf hydrangea. This garden's looking a little bit untidy. I think I'll start on the left this time. Daphne bush preparing to burst into blossom towards the end of winter. This is all just weeds. I had Bellis pom-pom in there, but it didn't survive. The Phacelia has kind of self-sowed. Roses, alyssum, there's dwarf roses in there. As I said, I need to give this attention. My Daphne bush started dying. I have no idea why, but half of it is just dead and brown and gave up the ghost. So I'm probably just going to pull the whole thing out because they don't like pruning. So if I cut half of it off, well, first of all, whatever killed the first half is probably going to kill the second half, and also it won't recover. It'll just look like half a bush. This is full of weeds still. My Acer sprang forth from where the roots actually meet the grafted on stock, because as you guys will recall, this broke in a windstorm. These leaves are looking dead obviously because it's autumn, but I think that's gonna come back from there. Still haven't painted my bench. There's a hollyhocks there. My Ko-Fi has survived. That is our citizenship tree. And then just a lot of untidy weeds and dead cosmos and things that I still need to get to. The driveway garden's looking pretty much the same. I keep waiting for the stock to give up the ghost because they're supposed to be annuals, and they've just bloomed non-stop since I planted them. They have never been without flowers. My cyclamen are doing amazingly everywhere I've planted them. I'm so glad I put so many in, and I'm going to be putting more in. These are violets. They're spreading nicely. You can see they're kind of taking over the bed. I have forget-me-nots back there that have spread. The actual original parent plant died, but it's obviously self-seeded, which I do like. Stock cyclamen. That Brunnera Jack Frost is looking a bit worse for the wear. I might just cut that back and see how it goes. My hosta has gone, and there's a dahlia there that I'm going to move. There it is, under there. Okay, this garden is also looking a bit untidy. I still need to make my compost bins. I haven't done so. That's going to be a big project because I produce a lot of garden waste. So in the meantime, we have a massive wheelie bin that the council picks up every 2 weeks, and they take it and make compost. But I'm filling one of those a week, so I'll fill it and then I'll have to wait until it's collected before I can do any more garden clearing. Hence piles of stuff on the grass, because if I get started I don't want to stop, but I have nowhere to put the cuttings. So we have some alyssum, echinacea, a lot of weeds. This Acer did not make it, did not like the wind in that spot. We're talking about putting in something like a blue juniper, or I don't know, maybe just not having a tree there. This is oregano. I need to cut this all back. So I've mostly cleared this, although the weeds are coming back. But the trouble with this bed is if I keep putting mulch on it, as the mulch rots down underneath, if I top it up with mulch, the bed actually just gets higher and higher, and then the mulch just washes off the bed. And as my plants become established, I don't want to be digging out the bed the whole time. So I may end up having to put like a little wall of bricks around the edge or something, although when will that ever end? In the end, we're going to have a raised bed there. The path I've discussed in a vlog. It's falling to pieces. I thought we'd get a couple more years out of it, but we did not. I didn't know it was going to rot away at some point. So I need to remove this and put some pavers or something in its place, or even gravel or something. Calendula seeding itself through the bed. I mean, these are the last of the zinnias. I should just pull them. They're not looking attractive, are they? That salvia came up from last year on its own. These beds as well, I need to finish clearing in here. Done a bit of a tidy up, but the zinnias, like I said, they can go. Still haven't filmed my greenhouse tour because I still haven't finished it, and it's looking a bit untidy, although you can see my harvest of pumpkins and butternuts there. This bed I was going to tidy up before this tour, but never got to it. The weather's been really iffy. But I have done all of my raised beds, so they're not looking quite as jungleless as they did last time you saw them. I'll just show you what's in each of them. I have bok choy, purple cabbages. They're doing really well. These are my yams. I never did earth them up, and I'm waiting for them to turn yellow and kind of flop over, and then I'll harvest what is in the bag. Yams in New Zealand are not sweet potatoes. I know in other parts of the world people call sweet potatoes yams. They're like these little red tubers, and I've never actually eaten them. Anyway, we'll see what those taste like. The Courtyard garden, I did a bit of a tidy up, not enough, and you can see the blush of weeds over everything. That is a hebe, I think, lavender lace that can stay. There is Achillea or yarrow in here, but I need to take out everything in between it. All those weeds. A lot of that is calendula. You can see all the calendula coming up, but that'll give some nice color in winter, so I'm not that bothered about that. This has bok choy sown in it. It's starting to come up, which is always exciting. This bed is cleared. I need to plant out. Ditto that bed. Actually, I've stuck a pencil in there. That bed is sown, probably with swede. I can never remember what I sow where. I just see what they look like when they come up, and then I know. This is planted up with cauliflowers, cabbages, broccoli. This bed has carrots in, but I can't weed it yet. Like, it's got loads of weeds and grass coming up, but that's how big the carrots are, and I don't want them being pulled up, so I'm waiting for them to get a bit bigger, and then I can come and weed this bed. This one has more brassicas, which is the cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. This is the last of the pumpkin vines. It was still going strong, so I was waiting for it to die off before harvesting the last two pumpkins. That bed with the hoops has cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbage. This is purple cabbage. Nothing started heading up yet, it's too small. This back section is just a disaster. I really need to come and sort this out. I do have some hollyhocks planted out there, which should get nice and big and fill the space and crowd out the weeds. My sage is full of grass and looking terrible. I might actually just pull that out and start again. My daisy bush is looking good. I didn't even cut that back. There's my big green wheelie bin. So that's full of garden waste. I fill it like the day after it's collected, and then over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, it kind of rots down a little bit, and then I can fit a bit more in, and then it's collected again. But that's why I just put a pause on clearing the garden. This bed I think needs to be planted up. I think I've just cleared that. This bed has beetroot, swede, peas and lettuce sown in it. Oh, look how nice and tall my red robin hedge is getting. They grow so fast, it's very rewarding. This bed has leeks that have self-seeded, so I just sowed leeks in the rest of the bed as well. The berry cage was weeded by Grant and has come back with loads of weeds, and I just am not ready to plant anything out there. Oops, I better put up my brolly, it's starting to rain. But I'm thinking of just getting weed mat and stapling that down and just letting that cover the ground for now. Either that or sowing a cover crop, I haven't decided. This bed has peas, I think radishes, swedes, beetroots, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, I normally show you this bed next, don't I? So this one is starting to fill out with plants. My little cyclamen are blooming, and then there's plants mounding up. I think that is forget-me-not. Loads of calendula self-seeding, but I'll deal with those in spring. Spiriosa. Got my succulents, which are doing really well here, blooming away. And then osteospermum. This is taken from a cutting from the one next to the gate, and I'm just deciding to pop that in everywhere because it looks good all year and it spreads nicely and it crowds out the weeds. So you'll be seeing more of that. So here I've got hellebores and aquilegia or granny's bonnets, cyclamen, nice shade loving plants, and I've just spotted a rogue tomato plant. Random. Okay, this shade garden, lots of weeds, but also things like fern, lamium, geranium, cyclamen. I mean, look at that, isn't that glorious? It's just so pretty and cheery at this time of year, and I can look out the windows from the house and see these patches of color back here. I did actually weed this and mulch it, but the weeds have found their way back. Back there was where I was dumping garden waste, so it's probably rotted down to pretty good compost at the bottom, but as a compost heap it was not working. There's just so much junk back there that we need to sort out. Let's not dwell on that. So here's a little overview of that side of the garden. So up to here where I'm standing, from the fence to here, that's a 1/4 acre. So we have actually 2 sections put together, so here's the other 1/4 acre, making 1/2 acre in total. These are my hazelnut trees. We didn't get any hazelnuts this year. I was going to cut a bed around there and put in shade plants, but I'm not allowed to put in any more beds. I've told myself next spring, no more beds. I just need to get on top of the ones I already have. Equipment sheds, so we have things like the mowers and chainsaws and camping equipment. I've stuffed the lounger cushions in there, but I think we actually just need new ones next year. These were olive trees that were cut down, and you cannot kill an olive, so they've come back as bushes, but they need to be trimmed down again before they get out of hand. Ditto this one. Well, that one has been cut down, but you can see you can't kill an olive tree. We have so many olive trees like these as well, but none of them produce any olives, and they just get really big and scraggly and drop their leaves on the neighbor's driveway. We're not fans. There is our grapevine, which is trained all along from back there. We're still training it. We haven't had any grapes yet, but it's growing happily. I've kind of cleared this bed, so we have some achillea, and this is all forget-me-nots, so hopefully in spring that'll look pretty. Impatiens, that's starting to die back a little bit with the colder weather we've been having. This was Commelina Sleeping Beauty, but that's a perennial, so that should come back next year. And then this back border is looking a bit sad. I've got hollyhocks at the back. I've got my camellia hedge that's blooming. Well, I say hedge. We planted this red robin at the same time, which, look how tall that is, almost to the fence. And look how little these are. But I didn't want to just put red robin along here for 2 reasons. One, it gets really, really tall, so we'd just be trimming it all the time. Back there, in the far corner, we wanted to get tall to cover that in the neighbor's garage. But here we don't want it too tall. Plus, I wanted the flowers. I wanted to be able to look out the kitchen window, which is there, and be able to see flowers along the hedge. So we've alternated pink and white camellias. And then in the front we've got things like achillea and bergamot and I don't know. It's all looking a bit worse for the wear. Started putting in shrubs, so we've got a shrub there and another one a bit further along. These are all gone. These can all be cleared. Ellison just goes all year round. And we have a little, I think, mandarin tree Yeah, mandarin tree. That did not look good for the first couple of years, but it's starting to rally and grow now, so I'm going to clear around it as it gets a bit bigger. Pile of branches that needs mulching. Pile of mulch at the back there. This is a tree, you can see this sprouting thing, was a tree that was crashing into our oak. So they were competing, so Grant cut this one down because the oak takes priority, and then this one will kind of fluff out and almost become a shrub in the corner here. Piles of wood. We have 2 apple trees. We had a third one, but that one died last year. So 2 apple trees, and this is a pear tree. You'll remember that this one I couldn't prune. I couldn't get to it because it had piles and piles of branches around it, and now all of the suckers are just straight up branches, so I need to sort that out. This is our cork oak. It's looking a bit bare on this side because this whole area here was crowded. There were too many trees. This is a pear tree back there. I need to prune that. And I'll just show you this bit because I always forget. Not that there's much to see here. This was all alyssum frothing in front of the step, which one of my guys has mowed. Don't know if it was the kids or Grant. Cyclamen I need to plant out. Last night we had a storm and they've blown over. Well, I rescued them from the garden. That one's pot blew off and I can't even find the pot, so I really need to plant those out. Weeds, alyssum, calendula, the last of the candy tuft and sweet William. I put succulents under here, they're starting to grow. More osteospermum, like I said, I want to kind of put that in more areas because it does so well. Hollyhocks, odds and ends, and weeds. This garden is also looking a bit sad. There's so many areas I still need to clear. So that's scabiosa there, but it's mainly weeds. I can't even see the scabiosa. Stock. That's the last of the asters. Lots of weeds. Really need to get in here and do some clearing. Started putting succulents in here and they're doing really well. I just need to kind of weed between them. I've got some things like geranium and daisies and odds and ends here. I mean, look at that one. And a couple of hydrangeas back there. And then here is the black hole. This is where everything goes to die, and this is where we want to put the pool next year. So this is going to be one heck of a project. But that takes us right round to the front again. Hope you enjoyed this garden tour and seeing how things are looking in autumn. And thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.